You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly.
Welcome to the Village of Wappinger Falls monthly meeting, regular meeting of the Mayor and Board of Trustees for today, Wednesday, February 8th, 7 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Board, we have a recognition, actually an announcement of a special event. We have a letter here from Cindy Latino, Festival of the Falls Coordinator. The Wappinger Falls Business and Professional Association Incorporated would like to have approval to hold the date of June 10th, 2023 and a rain date of June 11th for our 7th annual festival at the Falls. The event will take place from noon to 6. We would like to reserve Mizzier Park from Friday, June 9th through Sunday, June 11th. So we're going to vote on this in a few minutes. That's the announcement.
Okay. I will allow Trustee Lauricella, he asked to say a few words. I'll allow him to do his announcement.
Cool, thank you. Unfortunately, I couldn't prepare something like I wanted to because my day was chaotic, but I thought it was worth speaking from the heart regardless. I think that everyone here is probably an indicator of the challenges that the village has. But I wanted to give an acknowledgement because the village and the residents and probably even some of the staff members are unaware when things are happening in a positive way. And so I think Mr. Karge has been so incredibly important at this incredibly difficult time for the village. and I don't know if everyone is aware of it. And I'm kind of connected to Mr. Karge throughout the day, and though we can look down and see all the things going wrong, the leadership and the effort and the professionalism and really the unbelievable care that this man has for the residents, for the workers, for the board even when we don't deserve it, for his country and his job is just incredible. I wish I wasn't saying this at this time when, you know, there's a heaviness in the room for this, but I didn't want to derail the fact that we are so incredibly lucky to have John Karge here. I was unaware that one person could step into so many roles, whether he's literally going to the bank to get money to give a vendor who wasn't paid. He just knows everything that's going on here. I mean, I'm sure this is not a preferred thing, but, you know, days before the primaries, I was like, for the love of God, will John Karge run for mayor? Right? Because this guy gives everything he's got for this position. I'm just completely blown away by it. And I wish I had the time to prepare something, because sometimes when I do, I can hit all the points I want to make. But I am so thankful. I hope that this will resonate with people, because I know as a resident, when I wasn't sitting here and I thought I knew all the things that were happening and the challenges and things, I really didn't. And without him, I think we'd be in an even worse spot. So
I'm very flattered for your kind remarks. Thank you for that.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. You know, these are very tough times. I think wherever you drive around, you'll see a sign up, help wanted, help wanted, help wanted. We've struggled with that here at the Village Hall. We've had some really tough times in getting people and trying to keep people, and it has been very demanding, and I appreciate you recognize that. And it's a great board to work with. Appreciate that. I've been the clerk for 20 years on the planning board, many years before that, and I enjoy it, and I work for the people. The people pay me. I work for them, the residents. And it's an honor, actually, for me to even be your clerk. Thanks again for your kind remarks.
Mr. Mayor, if I could just have a minute.
Sure.
While we're talking about it, I did plan on saying something about not only Mr. Karge, but some of the other employees in this building later on today. But since we're all here now, I'll just say it. These, especially this last month has been very trying. A lot of things have come up. A lot of people needed answers. A lot of things happening. Still didn't have a treasurer in place. We managed to get that treasurer in place. But in the last few weeks, I personally not only wanted to acknowledge Mr. Karge for everything that he's done, constant phone communication with us, like you said, running to the bank, doing things that are normally not his job to do, just making sure they get done. And it wasn't just Mr. Karge. So we had the girls upstairs that have been excellent. Heather, Mercedes is sitting here today, who was very helpful. Brenda, Jamie Lynn downstairs. Just everybody was great. I know there's a list of things right now that you're looking to get done. We are aware of that list. I have it sitting on my phone. We were able to get some of those things off that list today, I'm happy to tell you. And just know that we will continue to work at it and chip away at that list. And I personally just wanted to thank the staff that's in this building, Mr. Karge and the rest of the girls, for everything that they've done over the last few weeks.
It is a fantastic team, and they've worked very hard to get caught up with vouchers and a myriad of problems that employees have experienced over the past several months. But I'm confident that we're going to get through this very quickly now that we have someone in place. So, and I appreciate the employees being patient to this point, and that's all I can say about it. Okay. Yep. Thank you,
Okay.
Jen.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jen. I'm just gonna make a broad statement, and then we'll move on to the meeting. So we hired a fourth treasurer since I've been in office, and she's been on the job for 3 days. So everyone here has to be patient, because she's not even, the way it works with our fiscal agency, M&T, paperwork has been done, and she won't be ready to do transfers and other items for another 3 or 4 days. So today is Wednesday, so it looks like Thursday, Friday, Monday, and then Tuesday. So patience is needed. We know, we had a list, we know the items, W-2s, 1099s, the deferred compensation issue, New York State retirement, union dues with NYSUPA and CSEA, insurance buyout for those who take the buyout. We have a retro pay for a police officer that we have to do. We have garnishments and bond payments. We're working simultaneously with 4 or 5 of them at a time. But you need to be patient, because she's doing all the preliminary work before she gets the rights to make the transfers, and in the case of the dues, and in the case of the retirement, in the case, she doesn't have her rights yet. And when M&T gives her those rights, then things should happen very quickly. So, like I said, 4 treasurers now. This one's 3 days on the job. In the course of this interview process for all the treasurers, we interviewed over 20 candidates. We had 4 candidates. The most recent one was going to be hired before this one, and she bailed at the last minute. We had another one, a very good candidate from Dover, who bailed at the very last minute. And we had another one in the context of the interviews bail at the very last minute. Look, there's no secret that the village is more volatile than the NASDAQ 100. If you know what the NASDAQ 100 is, it's a stock exchange, and it has all the high-tech companies. And there's volatility up and down in that market. The village is just like it, because every little thing gets blown out of proportion. So we have to lower the volume, try to stay in our lane. We know items are a concern to you, and we're working on it. Okay, John, you can go into the meeting.
Okay, roll call. Mayor Sereno.
Present.
Trustee Sidoti.
Here.
Trustee Telesak.
Here.
Trustee Nesnick.
Here.
Trustee Huber.
Present.
Trustee Ruffin.
Here.
Trustee Larissella.
Here.
Village Attorney Wallace.
Here.
Action on minutes, January 11th, 2023, special board meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
That was Mike.
Yes.
And there's Mike Ruffin.
Action on minutes, January 25th, 2023, village board meeting.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
Mayor votes aye on both.
Carried. Authorization to pay bills as per approved warrant.
I will make that motion.
I will second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor votes aye.
Carried. Regular session. Motion to approve the June 10, 2023 7th Annual Festival of the Falls event.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye.
Carried. Trustee Huber wanted to talk about recreation.
So,
We have a question.
So I was being told that I was first on the agenda, so it seems like they're trying to avoid what I would like to speak about. So am I gonna get this opportunity, or are we gonna go around me here?
I'll give you time.
Okay, is that,
I'll let Mr. Cruzy go first.
Finish, start what you have to do. I'll give him time.
All right. So, summer's coming, and we have summer camp. I'd like to start it early and rehire our summer camp counselor back, Denise Panaleo. This way we can get the kids enrolled. There's papers to be filed by the county. It's not, this way we don't have to do it last minute. And I think she did a good job last year, so we should bring her back this year. And I'd like to get it started as soon as possible with her so we can start doing this paperwork and enrolling kids instead of doing it in the middle of June when school's almost out and you only have 15 kids down there. And there's a lot of kids in this village and they're going other places. They should be staying here.
did you want to put that in the form of a motion?
I'll make the motion.
The motion is out on the floor to hire Denise Panaleo to be the recreation director for
I'll second the motion.
2023.
So, sorry, I will second the motion.
Is there, on a question here, is there some kind of pay compensation that you want to include in the motion?
Hey, whatever she got paid last year, she gets paid this year.
At the pay rate of last year.
I thought it was $24 an hour, but I could be wrong.
I don't know the pay off the top of my head. I'd have to.
When I do the minutes, I can, if you want, yeah, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor votes aye.
Carried.
Okay.
So my name is Ken Cruzy. I thank you to the board for allowing me to speak on everyone's behalf. Me as a retiree, I know you mentioned about the issues that were related to people's deductions out of their check, but that's not the responsibility of the existing treasurer. It was the responsibility of the previous treasurer. So I think everyone here needs to know, where did that money go? Why did it happen? And what the board is going to do about it. Are we going to make all of these people whole for all monetary, non-monetary values, plus interest and any penalties that are involved in these distributions not going to the appropriate location?
I would say that on your first part of your question, it's quite like what happened with our tax problem when they paid taxes. So we took the money, we held the money, and it got deposited in the general fund, except maybe for the water department, in the F fund or G fund, whatever, which one is the water department. So they're in the funds. So of course we'll make whole on that. Now, interest and penalties, what are you speaking of? 'Cause
Well,
that's a
as an
misleading-
example,
that's a
if
misleading-
somebody, well, if somebody is putting
Excuse me,
monies
It's a
into a fund
Let him answer.
that could be interest-bearing, and now it's not, significant amounts of money here that we're talking about. So I think it would be more than fair and reasonable for the board to make that up for somebody that made some mistakes.
Of course. We have to. Wouldn't we have to?
We'll have to determine what it is, but I think it's a reasonable request on the face of it.
So can you tell me why it happened? Why did it happen? Why all of a sudden did it just stop in the middle of a cycle all of a sudden?
Eric, this is involving public monies. I recommend that you go into.
It's not involving public monies, did I just hear you say? Of course it's involving public monies.
So, to the best of your knowledge, when do you think this occurred?
Deferred comp, November 3rd was the last time any monies were placed in my personal statement, as well as I believe other statements.
Okay.
And I can say that this was brought to my attention over telephone calls with Mr. Cruzy, and I went, was Dora here at that time? Or who was here at that time?
4 days later.
Okay, so that would have been, so then I have, and I should have a paper trail for it, but every time I would get a phone call from Mr. Cruzy regarding this, whoever was the contact point at that time, I would reach out to them. And I would be told, yes, it's being handled. Then when it wasn't handled, then Dora did say that she was taking care of it, and she said she did take care of it. That's why when I found out yesterday after Mr. Cruzy was placed on the agenda, I called Mr. Card, said, what is this regarding? He told me that all this was news. This was news to me, but I understand after I spoke with Mr. Cruzy today, he told me once I was off the finance committee, he didn't want to involve me, which, was unfortunate. It was kind of him, but, this was being brought to our attention at the time. The disconnect is, when it gets told to me or someone in my role, like, we don't know what the mechanics of it, right? We're just a liaison. And then when we go, when I would go to Jessica or then Dora, and they tell you they're doing it, and one of the times maybe it wasn't about the deferred comp, maybe it was the time, but I was getting like, I assure you this is being done, and then to find out it's not being done, there's no answer. Like, I can say myself personally, I have no answer as to why that would not happen.
All right, that's fair enough.
It's not acceptable, but it's like, it's the truth. It's like,
I get it.
the person tells you they do their job, it's like,
Kenny?
I understand.
Dora was not in the building for us, for the.
Well, that's part of the problem.
Absolutely.
So as an
If
example.
I could just finish my sentence.
Sure.
Dora was not in the building for us to, like everybody said, we just recently found out about what was going on. And we immediately put it down. We immediately brought it to our new treasurer, and it is being handled. Beforehand, Dora was not in the building, and it was hard to get her in the building. So all we can tell you is that we're sorry for the situation. We were under the impression it was being handled, and it was not. And now that we know it is not, it is front, it is center, it is of most importance. We have a new treasurer that's been here for 3 days, and that's what's bam, right on her desk.
Right,
And it
I
will be
understand.
handled. What compensation we give you for it will determine going forward, but it is now being handled. I was not even aware that it wasn't being handled up until
Well,
this
I
week.
greatly appreciate that, but what makes you think, based on us having, this is the third treasurer now in 6 months, that a single individual all by themselves is going to do the regular everyday business of the village, including payroll, and make up all of these things? I mean,
Because
that's
it's always-
hard for me to believe with no help.
They did have help, because for a month and a half in the month of November and half of December, we had 2 treasurers working together.
Yeah, but they weren't full-time.
2
that's for
treasurers
sure.
working together.
And how'd that work out for you?
It did not at all. That's why
Well,
we have another one.
that's exactly what I'm saying. So what
That's why
would
we
make
have
you
another one.
think that a single treasurer today is going to be able to handle everything that's going on in this village right now?
Dora was hired as a full-time treasurer.
And she was never
She
in the building.
never worked a full-time.
So why did you allow it to continue to go on as long as you did the way it did? I don't understand
You have
that.
to trust the mayor, unfortunately. We had no other candidates.
And you may be correct. It may be more than one person can handle. But right now, you got to start at step 1. And step 1 is we have a new treasurer, and we're starting there.
I'm retired. Those monies that go into that deferred comp, I want to cash out. So now you're telling me I have to wait for the existing treasurer over a period of time to place that into this deferred comp? I mean, come on. I mean, that's
She will
it's
have her rights
unacceptable.
on Monday.
Say that
Is
again?
that correct? She will have her ability
I've been told 3 or 4 days.
on Monday.
So you're saying that the New York State deferred compensation, the CSEA dues, and the retirement will all be paid at that time?
I'm not telling you it'll all be paid on Monday. I'm going to tell you that she'll have the right to transfer monies on Monday.
So is there some kind of timeline? I mean,
I just want to ask a question. Wasn't there something done at one point where, and the answer might be no, where you or Mr. Carge was given the rights to use money, to allocate funds?
We are signatory when checks are over $2,000.
So-
You're the second signatory.
Does that allow you to do these types of banking things? Not make the calculations, that's not what I'm asking, but physically allocate the funds.
When I was appointed deputy
Yeah.
treasurer on reorgs over the past, not just the last one, it is only with the right to sign,
Okay.
period. No
That's the way-
calculations,
That's the way I understand.
no banking.
Well, I wasn't asking about calculations. I was saying, can the treasurer provide the calculations and you be the conduit to facilitate the funding?
Signing, yes.
Signing?
Well, is signing the same as funding?
No.
No. Okay. Well, that's what I'm asking.
For example, any checks that are cut in excess of $2,000,
Yeah.
I have to sign as a.
Gotcha.
That's it.
That's it. Okay.
so is there any consideration to get assistance for the treasurer so we can get through these circumstances? I mean, I'm hearing from all of these employees that their paychecks aren't even correct. What are we doing with that? How's that working out?
You had a second person you were going to put up. Do we
I
have
mean,
that?
things are falling behind. You guys need help. You got to get assistance here. I mean, let's get real. If you couldn't do it with the last 2 treasurers, I have no idea why you think you're going to be able to get this done with a single treasurer again. It makes no sense to me, logically.
Was Jessica McMahon the previous treasurer? Would you say she was on top of everything? She was.
Yeah, because she had an assistant, if you remember
Did
correctly.
not.
Did not
That
have-
is
Well, who was Brianna then?
Brianna was temporary, that she was,
It doesn't matter. Was she an
She was only here for a
assistant
few
to
months.
Jessica?
she was only here for.
And we had no trouble back then. So don't you think maybe it might be a good idea to get an assistant to get all of these things straightened out?
not necessarily a good idea to bring an assistant into a chaotic situation either.
But at least to
Absolute
straighten out the
chaos. We have
existing
to. You,
circumstances.
you don't even know where to send them. You can't even access bank accounts right now,
You may be correct. It may be a good thing to do at some point.
isn't it?
But right now, the treasurer has to get herself set up first. Because if she has an assistant, she has to know what to have the assistant assist with. So we have to get her.
So
in-
who's
her up and running.
training the new treasurer?
The new treasurer, Dor is still on board.
So Dora is the one that did not put these funds where they were supposed to go.
Right, and
So
Dora-
now we're having an individual do the training that didn't know how to do it to teach somebody that's new. Days.
Not exactly.
What do you mean, not exactly?
She is making the necessary phone calls that she needs to make. She's being pointed in the right direction and making the necessary phone calls that she needs to make to get these jobs done. If I could just say one thing. The treasurers that we had in the past were kind of like patchwork. Nobody worked an 8-to-5 job. People were working weekends. We were doing interviews. We have a full-time treasurer, which I have very high hopes for, who's coming into the office, who's going to be working Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30, and working on these issues every day. Not somebody doing payroll over the phone or somebody, texting and trying to get things done. That's not the way to run it, but that's the way it has
So
to.
my question to you with that is, why did you allow it to happen?
That you don't, you have to ask the mayor.
I mean, who do you want me to
That's
ask?
the mayor's
Why
appointment.
did you allow that to happen?
On what phase of the question?
Why did you allow somebody who last month you said you're not supposed to take work to your home to do it, but yet this board allowed her to work from home? How does that make any sense?
We didn't allow her to work from home. She just physically did not come here. And so we can't, I'm on your side 100%,
It was
Mr.
discussed at the
Cruzy.
last board meeting, she was gonna be here one day.
You mean when she resigned? I'm sorry.
Well,
I thought you meant when she was,
Well,
I thought you meant
either
when
way-
she was the,
Either way, she was working from home. What, if the board said you can't do this type of work
I
from
know.
home, what was she doing?
no, you're right.
And if she was coming in once a week, and I called the village clerk, and he said she doesn't come in anymore. Well, I was waiting for a letter from the New York State Retirement System.
Right.
I've been waiting more than a month. I'm not receiving my appropriate monies that I'm due because this paperwork has not been filled in.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
So I would, for example, just to be candid, I would have a conversation and be like, well, then she should be terminated immediately.
Absolutely.
And I would be
That's up to
told-
you guys.
And I would be told, you cannot do that. Because things that, remember, we'd have conversation, I go, I only know this small little world that I live in, I don't know about the different things with appointments, civil service, unions. I would be told, are you correct? I'd have conversations with you. I'd say, she'd be terminated immediately. I'd be told, this system that I'm trying to operate within, that I'm learning every day, that's not the way it works. You may know better, you would know better than I am, because I'm not an employee here.
So does it make sense to this board that based on having 4 treasurers over a short period of time, that it would be smart to have somebody else that knows that work and knows the job so that if that individual can't do it, somebody else is there to take over where they left off?
Correct, 100%. I also think it would make sense to involve the towns in this extreme moment of fiscal distress. I've said it over and over again. We straddle 2 towns. They have financial offices with multiple people. Supervisor Thurston has said, I'm happy to do it. We just got to sign an agreement. Can't get it done. I personally believe that would fix, and maybe not, because I thought we'd fix the problem other ways, and we didn't.
Don't say that can't be done. I was in contact.
Well, I shouldn't say can't be done. Has not
We've been having
done.
the conversation for months,
We've been talking
saying
about it.
that this is an avenue, and nobody's
I understand that
wanted to look into it.
there's a fear
He
you
has
give
agreed.
away some of your powers.
He has agreed to meet me for that discussion. Now, to your point, I agree with your point about having someone. I offered another name to the board,
Right.
and right now, the board's position, unless it's changed, is they want to have a look-see on this treasurer. I've offered a former...
That was not my opinion. I'm ready to vote for the person to join. is my point.
I have given the board a name, a former treasurer, who's worked here a good many years, would be willing to work part-time. Now, here's the caveat. She's got another job. She's willing to leave that job. But I need to, as of last Friday, there were 6 votes in favor of this person. And so the wind shifted a little bit, and so we're on hold on that. So I think
What does that mean, the wind shifted?
because
The pay's a little too high.
Oh. So you're saying
Hey.
that 6 people now you don't have 6 votes? Is that what the wind was?
I'm saying that it looks like the board wants to see how this treasurer manages the item.
Some of the board.
Okay. The issue of pay is not as significant as we would like to believe, in my estimation. When you see what she was making before she left the village employed. Okay. But I can only propose, the board disposes. The mayor proposes, the board disposes. So, I happen to agree with Kenny on the point about all the work that's going to be ongoing. Yes, Kathy?
Can you bring the state in to help clear up this mess, or the auditors, or somebody to come in here and clean this mess up, so all these guys and everyone can get paid, and you have a man that retired, 30 years of dedication, and he has no money coming in? Come on. Something really has to get shaken up here, really.
Well, I don't know how, and I really don't like using my instance as an example. I don't know how the New York State, the CSCA works. I can only go by what happened to me when I retired from my union.
I mean, it's a shame. It's a disgrace. It really is. It's a disgrace. These guys bust their rear ends all the time. Kenny, 30 years, dedicated.
No question. No one's arguing those points.
I know that, but something
No
really
one's arguing those points.
and soon.
I think the frustrating part is every time we interviewed, we fought amongst the board. People had one opinion, others had another opinion. I was completely dumbfounded that our treasurer, who has recently resigned, didn't do what they said they were going to do. Almost to the point where I have to question. I mean, we had legitimate interviews where everything seemed. I don't know how you can go to a job and then tell people you're doing things and just not do them. But I also don't know what we could physically do. I'm embarrassed by this. This is disgusting to me. I'm sickened. I'm ashamed. This is pathetic, and I can't believe I'm a part of this. That's generally my feeling on Wednesdays, on the first and the last of the month. I'm generally sickened by this. But I don't know what else we can do.
You mean the second and the last?
Whatever, second and last, see? I don't even get that right. But the point is, it's despicable, and I am ashamed, and I don't know what else to do. Because when you hire people that have master's degrees, oh yes, I do this, oh yes, I can do this, and I can't do it, I've never said I can do it, and you go, okay, well, you think the person can do the job. They come in, they're able to take their check, they come in, they're able to use their health insurance, and they're not able to do their jobs. And I don't know what the answer is. That's why I said, mercy, please let's go to shared services. Please, the towns help us. We don't have the talent. We don't have the purview. We lack the leadership. This is how bad it is.
Why did you wait until it got...
We haven't waited. You come every week. You see us. No one's waiting. We've been begging people to help us.
Said she got away with so much all that time.
Well, I don't know if she got ahead of so much, but no, there's nobody to pull from. Right? If one of you guys could come out and sign the checks, we would do it.
Now, why didn't you come up with the town before?
I've been doing it for months. I have been saying it for 6 months. 6 months, maybe. 6 months. Well, not everything is when you're here in the room, right? I mean, we're doing things all the time. I'm emailing, I'm talking at my business, I'm talking to him, I'm talking to him, I'm talking to them, I'm talking to Mr. Cruzy, I'm talking to Tom, I'm talking to everybody. Just because you're not in the room doesn't mean we're not fixing it. On the second and the fourth, you're in the
I'm at the
room.
meetings. What I'm saying, it was never brought up. Why didn't you get rid of them? It was never brought up that you wanted to do a share with the town.
What I'm saying is,
treasurer.
it was brought up. You just weren't in the room. And I don't care if you believe it or not, because right now I'm not here for politics.
What room
I'm
are
trying
you
to
talking
figure it
about?
out.
Executive session?
I can have a conversation on Thursday at noon about shared services. I can talk to, I'm not gonna pull up my text messages, but if you'd like to read the ones from Thurston, I'll walk over and hand it
But
to you.
I'm saying if that was in the works, why wasn't it brought up?
It's not in the works because I'm not the mayor. The mayor can sign it. It's like some of these things are fundamental government things that's the way they go. Adam Lauricella can't sign it. I'm just a trustee. You can't sign it either. Either can John Carge. Only the mayor can. I can have a bunch of conversations with the mayor. The mayor doesn't want to sign it. Guess what? It doesn't get signed. I'm just saying we have been trying.
I don't have.
And when you get
With all the-
7 people on the same page, in this room, this 7 people, it's impossible. We got these people working against us, we're working against them, nothing's getting done, and that's the reality of it.
With
Let's
all
get
the,
together. Together.
with all due respect, I don't have the paper in front of me yet. I'm expecting the supervisor's gonna craft something, and I'll be able to sign something.
He has said the village has had the paperwork for months. Actually, just give me 1 second. I want to just.
For example, the highway department didn't even have internet. You couldn't check your weather. You couldn't do other things that you need to do with the internet. When it was brought to my attention yesterday, I immediately called them up and used the village credit card to pay that bill so you could at least have internet.
So according to the supervisor, he's made more than a dozen suggestions to the village for shared services and arrangement where we could assist legally. There's never been a response until last week.
That's not true.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, I'm just letting everybody know,
I'm
because
just
they
telling
want
you.
answers,
I'm just
I'm giving them
telling
to you. And I said,
does it really matter? We can go back and forth
we can also,
all
real
night
quick, we
long.
can also go to a
We
referendum.
have a treasurer right now. We're obviously going to talk further about this tonight. We have an executive session. I myself am interested to see where the mayor is at with getting some help from the town. We do have the list. We are working on it. We actually have somebody that's that has knowledge of this, that's been working on it with the last few days of us as well. So we are bringing in everything we can to make this of high priority. That's all I can say right now. We're not going to solve anything in this right here, right now. It's not going to be solved. We are working in the right direction. We have a new treasurer. I think it's going to finally work out well. We're going to be moving forward, and we can assure you in the timeliest manner that we can possibly do it, we will fix every problem on that list.
And I believe you should be there's a way to figure it out mathematically, and your gains should be given to you.
Absolutely.
I believe that.
If we can legally do it, I'm 100%.
Absolutely. Without a doubt.
I don't think you'll
I
get
guess there is a
any-
question, maybe legally we
If
can't.
we
I
can
don't
legally
know.
do it, I'm 100%.
But then we have to figure out what legally we can do to make you
So
whole.
does CSEA, just so you know.
100%.
So, I'm just making you aware of that. I greatly appreciate the board allowing me to speak on this, and I'm just very passionate about it, and I'd like to see
Should be.
it getting straightened out. And I'm glad to see you're working in the right direction. I hope it works out. And, I hope that you certainly consider getting some assistance for that individual or some manager type of thing that can move us forward and get everything straightened out.
We will, Kenny.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ken.
Congratulations, Penny, on this.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, discussion on
Church is out, guys. See you later.
on the art displays on lamp posts in the village, trustee Huber.
Yes, so I've been contacted by Courtney Cove and Business Association. They come up with something that was brought up in the past by trustee Lauricella, was on a committee, I think it was the EDC, about putting banners on the lamp post.
Thank you.
And the Business Association is, I guess, reached out or is looking for a local artist to do a banner. Put their artwork on the banner on the new light poles throughout Main Street. There's 30 of them, they counted. The board would have the approval of the banners, of what goes up and what doesn't go up. The business association, if I remember correctly, is gonna take them up and bring them down, Courtney? So there's really no cost to the village. They're just asking for permission to go out and look for artists and do this project. I think it's pretty cool. I have shown a couple people in my out and about around town, around the village, and they thought it was pretty cool because I showed them the picture that everybody has in their flyer here tonight.
Yeah, who would be against it? It looks nice.
Yeah, I think it's awesome, and I would like to make a motion to go out and do this.
The only thing is, I don't think the board should be voting on what goes up and what doesn't. They do
But I think
program,
it's
they
more-
do it. We shouldn't be approving what art is appropriate or not. They want to do it.
I think what I want to say is that the village doesn't want anything tacky up there.
Yeah, but it's like we're putting them in custody. The government shouldn't be approving what art is, in my opinion. I never like that.
Yeah, but you don't want an artist to put his artwork up there and, the FJB. You don't want that on the pole.
I want
You know?
the art. I want the artist to speak. I don't ever want to. I don't like government telling an artist.
Just like
Yeah.
just examples.
Like you guys do it.
Yeah.
Cool, do it. We shouldn't be like yes, no, yes, no. That's not the role of government.
Well, I'm just going what they
Yeah.
talked to me about. This is what they said.
I would say just
I'm
do
trying to
it.
bring it back word to word,
Yeah.
Now,
Oh,
are there,
she's saying she doesn't know about it.
I don't, is it the board? Oh, sorry, I worked with the president of the Business Association,
Oh.
Jackie.
Jackie?
Oh, okay.
Okay, I think she's brought it up at a board meeting. I know it was an idea that was floating around, but.
I'm just saying, you see my point. I would be
Yeah.
just like, yeah, do it.
Yeah.
Not like, yeah, do it, and then we're gonna get slides of
Totally cool.
everybody's art and go, this can go up, this can't go
Yeah,
up.
totally
Like-
fine.
You
Are
just
there
hang
any-
it up, and if people are outraged, cool, and if they're not, that's cool too.
Isn't that art?
Make art,
Fine with that.
you know?
are there any banners up there at the moment, or any flags on those positions?
Yeah, so the way that it came up, did you want to?
No, go ahead, you go
No,
ahead.
you go. No, you go.
There's the American flags are up there as of right now, still. We didn't take them down. I helped Trent back in, I don't know, maybe midsummer, early summer, hang them. I was driving up the road one day and I saw them, so I stopped and I
Yeah,
helped
so
him.
there's 4 flags missing right now. They were on a really high wind section, and unfortunately, due to what they're made out of, they don't take to winds like vinyl with wind holes in them. Obviously, you guys know I talk to Trent a lot. Trent knows. We were talking about the flags that are starting to fray and come undone. And I said, oh man, I've been talking about this idea for years, having the artists. We have so many, Marican, for example, local artists that are tucked on our side streets, and they're incredible. It would be really neat to have just a really clean display of their work and their name, and then a QR code where all the restaurants could have the QR code, and it would link to the bios of these artists and tell their story, and be a really neat reason to bring people to the village.
I think it's a home run, and it'd really be great. I know you're running out of time, but you have March 4th, 5,000 people in the village,
Oh.
roughly, for the St. Patrick's Day Parade. It would be nice if you had something like that up, I think, my opinion.
Yeah, and then with Trent.
And these are below the banners that we have for the Hometown
Yeah,
Heroes.
So Hometown Heroes stay up. All of the flags that are, I'm sorry, I don't know the right, but diagonal, like in the wind, blowing in the wind.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Those posts are on the lampposts as well. So the flags remain that are coming off of the lampposts. These are for the 35 banners that are 2 feet wide by 3 feet long. The Hometown Heroes are about 3 feet wide by 5 feet long.
And I
These
think
are
they're
smaller.
higher up, too.
They're higher up, yeah. So we thought it would be a nice, well, I guess I should say I thought, it would be a nice combination of
You're
Hometown
talking about
Heroes.
just the black lampposts, that's what you're looking to put them on.
There's also four new ones down at the boathouse. if you want.
Yes, and the 4 new ones, yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, so it just was an idea,
Did I understand you have 35 of those?
yeah.
There's 35 poles, yeah.
No, 35, how many pieces of artwork?
Right now we have 13, but that was just me asking. I wanted to properly, and I'm sorry about doing this with everything else going on. I feel really uncomfortable talking about it with everything else, but I wanted to speak with the board, actually, Kevin, just to make sure it was okay before putting it on social media, because I know how it feels when you see something on social media that you're like, wait, so I wanted to make sure everyone thought it was a good idea. And then we've got plenty of artists that we didn't even, I've just been compiling with folks that I've met in the village.
Well, I just want to say, I think it's a marvelous idea. And at some point, we're going to have the boathouse open, and maybe when they come down, we can do a show.
Yeah, and Reagan is actually, her sculpture is in the...
Yes, she's in the window.
Yeah, so again, like just so much talent there.
Absolutely.
So, and there is, I'll leave this with you guys, there is a Calling All Artists flyer that you'll see go around. And then just if someone says, yes, we would like to participate, just a flag to, you want to participate, these are the specs we need. And that'll ensure all the fonts are the same. And UPS and Wappingers, they're a great ally to Wappinger. They're a local business. They love the village. A lot of them live right in the village. They'll be printing them for us on a nice vinyl with the wind flap, so there's no issue with wind.
All right, did you want to vote on that, or?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to have the banners done by the Business Association, our local artists.
I will second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor votes aye.
If you have some spares of those banners, I'll be happy to put some up in the cobbler shop and in the various places in the parks.
Oh, thank you so much. That's wonderful. Okay, I'll get...
And you're going to get that brochure for me that you had of the map highlighting the different spots?
Yeah.
That was very nice.
That was another business association.
I want to see if I can get it, I'll put that on our website too.
Okay.
Good.
That would be great.
Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda, I'm in receipt of correspondence from William T. Garner Engine Company. They voted in Zach Steinauer as a member of the company.
I'll make the motion.
To accept that correspondence.
I'll make the motion.
Second?
That was trustee Ruffin.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
Mayor votes aye.
All right, committee, police.
Just a couple of things tonight. 2 weeks ago, I received a letter from DCJS stating our mandatory certification was due February 7th. So I called them up to find out when we initially were told about this. It was part of the Police Reform Act that's been going on for like the last 2 years. She said we sent something, I believe, in October, November, and I never received it because I didn't start till November or late November. So we got to work on it. I sent in all the required information they wanted. One of the things we have to do is when we have a use of force death, we have to notify the New York State Attorney General to come down and investigate. So we had to make that part of our general orders. If we have a corruption or a misconduct situation, we have to notify the Inspector General of New York State to investigate and what we found out about it. So that's part of our general orders now. We also now have a new requirement. All part-time officers have to receive a medical examination. So besides the drug test and the psych that we gave them, we now have to do a medical examination for them. So that's going to be an additional cost for us when we, hire a new candidate.
Do they go to their own doctors, or do they go to...
No, we have to arrange our own doctor for them to see, and we have to give them the specifications that the Bureau of Municipal Police require all full-time officers to have. They'll have to meet the same requirement.
Can we use the workplace like the fire department does?
The what?
The workplace like the fire department does?
As long as whatever the doctor does follows whatever the state wants.
Okay.
So yeah, it doesn't matter where we go as long as they follow the examination required.
All right, because I know the fire department, for their physicals, they go up to the workplace.
Where is that? Is that up at 9?
There's one in Poughkeepsie by the old K&D Deli, and there's another one down in Fishkill next to the 84 Diner.
So the arrangement...
We'll search out whatever best price we can get for doing examination, stuff like that.
If an officer is employed by another department, is it the physical transferable, or they need one for every department?
Excuse me, I didn't hear the first part.
If an officer is employed by another department,
yeah,
is their physical transferable, or does every department need to do their own?
It's mostly for someone coming out of the academy. So if we get someone that goes through the Phase 1, Phase 2 program, they have to have a medical. If we hire a transfer or someone that works in another department, like the officer McNeil, we don't have to get a medical for. He's already gone through that before the procedure. but any new police officers who've never had a medical anywhere. So we also had to send them two of our latest background packages. They had to review what type of background we conduct on our officers, and they said we do everything perfect with that, so that wasn't a problem. I'd also like to thank John Carge for getting the new lights in our records room, so we can actually see what's going on down there now. We began cleaning it out, so we got rid of a lot of stuff. The court came down the other day and started working on their side, so we got rid of a lot of old reports that weren't needed anymore, so we got a lot more room down there and we can actually see what we're doing. I also received a call from the people that service our generator. They said it can't be repaired and it's ready to go at any moment. It's not even sufficient enough to do our headquarters, so we really need a bigger and a better unit. I've already contacted a couple of people who provide generators, and they're putting prices together. Lori's looking at a price or a grant for us to cover the cost, because the grant we're looking at, or the generator, is probably around $40,000. So we're working on that right now. I think that's about it. Any questions?
I am going to get a company involved in selling the light bars you have in the basement.
Oh, great.
Tires, rims, whatever you have down there. I have a company that I work with, and I have to just send them pictures of it. They advertise it, people bid on that stuff, and it goes quick.
Okay.
So I'm working on that portion of your basement.
Okay, great. Appreciate that. Just two quick other things. Starting to think of instituting the bike unit again. They would run from April to October. There would be 2 shifts from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. And the officers would patrol the business area and the parks in that time. They might do some parking enforcement a little bit.
That'd be great.
Nothing really big, parking front, no parking sign, not marking tires or anything like that, just, stuff like that.
It's just great to have them.
Yeah, I have 3 officers that volunteered to do it, so one's already trained, the other 2 I have to send for training.
Do we still have the bikes?
We still have the bikes. Officer Farrell made a call today. We're going to send them up to get looked at, because they haven't been used in a couple of years, so we got to get them serviced. And we're also going to have to buy new uniforms for the 3 officers to use. So, but I think it'll be great for the community to see an officer out there at those time periods.
Can I ask you one quick question?
Sure.
You might not be able to answer this, but when I was heading home today, about 5 or 6 police cars going up West Main, all with their lights on.
Ours?
Well, not all of them. There was like a state trooper, and then there were several village.
I don't know, I came into the station, I was in the station, but I didn't hear anything big.
It was in the afternoon. There was no sirens on, but all their lights were on. Looked like it was crazy.
I wanted to find out for you, but I don't know.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
I guess you're going to continue on with the finance later. Highway, Trustee Sidoti.
I don't have anything unless somebody else has something.
Okay, Fire and Lake. There's a proposal to improve the lighting and air movement at William T. Garner Firehouse.
We're going to table that until the workshop meeting. I got a fire committee meeting with the fire chief on the Monday before the workshop. I don't have the date, but we talked this afternoon.
Okay, we have a motion to table that to the workshop. Trustee Huber, can I have a second?
Second.
Trustee Nesnick, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
Mayor votes aye.
I don't have anything on safety at the moment. I had to reschedule our meeting, but I'll talk about MS4 for a minute. MS4 stormwater meeting we had today, I was unanimously reappointed as chairman of the Dutchess County MS4 Consortium, which consists of 14 upstream communities that all their water ends up in our lake.
How many years have you been chairman of that committee?
7 years as chairman, 20 years as a member.
Thank you.
So that's very important. John Kozak helps me with that, and the highway department helps me to some extent with that. And I'd like to thank John for all the work he does with that. So that's all I have. Recreation, you talked about. Water, Mayor, anything?
I got something with water.
I'll let Trustee Huber, he's a water commissioner, talk.
Unless the mayor wants to talk about it, I'm sorry. So the water board, we approved to go to buy these loggers that will detect leaks in our village. So we're gonna get 65 of them, if I remember correctly, and they're gonna go throughout the village. And it's a 5-year plan? It's 5 years total,
4 years,
and the 5th year's a buyout?
to start, yes.
Yeah. So, we use this, I forget the name of the company, but we use the same company, and we have to make a call for an emergency leak, and he comes in. If we put these bloggers in, we'd be able to find them, because I guess every night, they'll do a reading on the pipe. Then I guess the next day, the gentleman would come in, John?
Once a month.
Once a month, I'm sorry. And would let us know after the data came up, and hey, you got a leak over here, or unless our guys find it beforehand, then we can reach out to them, or notice a leak, like a big leak like we had back in December, in January.
All paid
out on
through the
Route
water
9.
department.
Yeah.
I just want to add on that. So December 23rd, Ken Cruzy had left. We were a 3-man crew down to a 2-man crew. Phil, being only working here for 1 month, we had basically my worst nightmare, which was a leak, God knows where. We managed to throw a few fuelers out there, did some hard work, and lucked out and found a very substantial leak and fixed it, but without Northeast Technology,
Yes.
is the name of the company, to assist, and without Phil being excellent at what he does, we really lucked out. And I just want to say that Phil did a great job, and he continues to do a great job. And for a 3-man crew to be 2-man and to manage to tackle something like that within days was excellent. And I think that this technology is only going to help us that much more.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was a good investment, and the water board had acted pretty quick on it.
Yes.
I mean, we only knew about it in a month, and we acted the following month on it. So,
Yes, it was, we really, the village lucked out. There was some desperation. Unfortunately, with the amount of people we have in the village, and it's continuing to grow, there's always a limited supply of water, and when it goes to waste, such as a leak, it becomes imperative to find massive leaks as we
Yes.
did. We really lucked out, and we were really, within days, we were managed to do it. So, but this logger system is going to help us in the future.
yep.
All right, personnel.
Was it a bigger leak than the other massive leak we have? Or is it comparable?
This was roughly 40 to 50 gallons per minute.
So is that yes?
So that's a big leak.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a big leak.
It's a big leak on a small line, so this is not going to surface like a 12-inch or 10-inch main. It's on a 6-inch line, so it doesn't have that much volume behind it.
Yeah.
Though you're losing that much water, so.
Well, thank you for
Two questions.
hooking it up.
This man here.
Go ahead.
We just had, I wanted to roll back a little bit to recreation. We had another proposal here for an event in May.
Yeah.
Oh.
Can we take a minute? You got the chair, I don't have that in copy. Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Alright, my name is Brian Zickerfus. I'm a local artist here in the village. You guys might know some of my work. I do window paintings and murals for a lot of the local businesses. Last year we did Art Day in the village. So we went, we had pop-up shops. I don't know if you guys remember, we had pop-up shops around the village, live art demonstrations. It was a success, so we want to bring it back this year. This year we're proposing the date, same date, Saturday, May 13th, with the rain date of May 14th, same time as the Festival of the Arts student show that goes on Messer Park. The intent with this is to kind of like mirror that, but create an opportunity for local artists to show their art and expose the local art scene here in the village to a broader audience. The event goes from 10 to 4 with load-in for the artists, 9 a.m. with load-out at 5 p.m. This year we'll have pop-up art shops again, live art demonstrations, live music. This is a public event, free admission, all ages welcome. New this year for 2023, we intend to have an artist village in Zion Park, artists with a little pop-up at the corner of Satterley Place and East Main, at the corner of the lot there. We'll also be using Zion, again, for parking.
You have permission from Zion?
Yes, we did. We talked to them. Essentially, what we'll be doing is this year we're going to be creating live murals at the event. Myself and a curated group of other local artists from around the village are collaborating on 2 large murals that will be created on site at the event. We're going to have plywood panels. Essentially, we'll be painting on the plywood panels. People can kind of see what's going on, see the live art being created. What we intend to do is hang the art at places in the village. We've discussed hanging a community mural at Zion, and the other mural we're talking about, we'll get to in a second. But essentially, we've identified a grant with the Artsman Hudson. I'm writing for a grant for $5,000 to underwrite the project, for the supplies and for the art fees and any expenses that may come up with the mural. We partnered with Cosm Chapel Sacred Mirrors as a nonprofit community partner for the purposes of the grant, as well as to help execute the event. We have the proposed location for the mural is on page 3, the site of 4652 East Main Street. It's owned by Elmy. We talked to him, and it was actually his idea to put the mural up there. Initially, I proposed putting it on the side of Passage. He said, you know, that this might be a better spot, more visible. It's not on the street, so nobody can vandalize it, this type of thing. But essentially what I'm asking for you guys, permission to do this. I'm not asking for, you know, the grant would fund, it would be at no expense to the village. The grant would essentially support the creation of the murals and the installation of the murals. Working closely with the businesses, I can say that there's a lot of support for public art in the village. There's not a lot of murals currently hanging in the village, and I think at this time would be a really great opportunity for the village to beautify. And maybe this is something that we could build up. We can generate enough support, and something we can come back and do year after year, and find places in the village to install other murals and stuff as we go.
Good job.
We're into it, right? We're gonna do it, right?
Yeah.
We need a motion to support.
I'll make the motion to do Art Day in the village,
Second.
as outlined here.
Art Day, trustee Lauricella, trustee Huber. All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor votes aye.
Carried.
Add, if you need to put up some stuff to generate interest, let me know, we'll put you up in the cowboy shop. Maybe you can maybe if you need someplace to throw another mural.
Okay. That's great.
Thank you for doing this.
Thanks for your time.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Don't forget Kathy. Oh.
Thanks for waiting so long.
Yeah.
I didn't know why you were. I didn't know why you were here. So.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We'll wait through it. Gotta sit through the bad, get some time.
Are they gonna
Have a
hire
night, everybody.
anyone for the water department?
We wanna.
Words are out of my mouth.
What do we want to do?
Excuse me, Kathy, I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I said, are they gonna hire anyone for the, water department? For Kenny, replace Kenny? You can't replace Kenny, but,
We already did.
oh, you did?
No, we didn't.
No, we did.
No, we're two.
We only got 2.
Huh?
That's
We're
right.
two men.
No, but I mean, we replaced Kenny.
No, he's not a Kenny replace. He's
You
Tyler.
need
I'm a Tyler
another- you need
replacement.
three
Tyler.
guys.
He's talking about John.
Oh.
John stepped into that
His
role.
position, yes, but there is
Yeah.
always a three-man crew
Yeah.
in the war, and now there's a two-man crew. And it is starting to get a little, over demanding, I guess. So it is something that I want to make sure that the village is aware that there should be 3 men, or 3 people at the water department.
So 4 total, you're saying?
No, there's only 2 of us, and you're looking at
There's 2 of us that work there, myself and John.
Yeah.
At one point, it was a 4-man crew.
Right.
Then it got dropped to a 3-man crew.
Who's this dude?
No.
I thought you guys were homies. I just saw you fist bumping and stuff. I figured you were like a new guy.
Good job.
You know anything about water?
So, I don't understand, you want me to advertise, is that it?
We just want to make mention that at some point in the near future that we do advertise and at some point.
Maybe in the water board meeting the other night, Phil talked to me about it, and I figure we're gonna discuss it again at our next water board meeting.
Well, when you're ready, let me know, and we'll do it indeed.
My question is that the board approved hiring someone, we hired him, then he backed out because his job offered him more money. So do we have to go through the process all over again and get approval? Because we have 2 applicants that applied.
No, you can use what you have.
So
If you think you have somebody.
We hired somebody.
Yeah,
They didn't take it.
they had, 2 days before, he had called and he said, hey, my job offered me way more money, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna take the job.
So you have candidates already that
So
you're
there's
looking
2 applications that got handed in, whether,
The only thing I'm aware of is that you gotta have these license requirements to be a water.
You can get those after you got the job, you gotta go to school for them.
Right.
you need the work experience anyway to get these licenses. So
Okay.
to get a grade D license is the bare minimum. You gotta work at least 6 months before you're even eligible to go get it. After that, you can work a year, and then you can get your operator's license, so that way you
Yeah,
can
so we
operate
said,
inside
yeah,
the
go for
plant.
it. Take those people and do it.
Well, we don't even know, they haven't been interviewed. My thing is that if we want to interview the 2 applicants that we have, we still have approval to do that. If
Correct.
we liked one of them and the water board liked one of them, we could hire them.
That's correct.
Okay.
All right,
You could make a recommendation to the board, and then we will hire them.
Well, yeah, then it'd have to be voted again.
But if you've got some inventory of candidates, by all means.
The last one I had, he decided not to take the job, and I spent 2 weeks trying to get him to change his mind, and then I went so far as after a month of him getting his promotion, I called him and said, hey, is everything going well? Because the commissioner said, hey, he goes, if your buddy's not liking that job, we'll hire him still. And he said, no, I'm sorry, man. He goes, I'm doing good. I said, all right, I just want to check in. And that was it. So.
all right. Personnel?
Well, obviously, we hired a new treasurer, so we just want to welcome Gina Mealy to the team. She started on Monday. And that's about it.
Tri-Muni?
I think for the February meeting, where's Trustee Huber? He's not around.
Nature bring.
I'll hold off. I just want to reiterate to the board again that there will be a sewer project at the sewer plant, and they'll probably be working on it in maybe April, but May for sure. And so that's $660,000. So we have to line up some financing. That's a thought for the new board. And I don't want to overburden the treasurer because I told her I have a few other things that are sewer related that she will have to look into. So hopefully when she gets her, I don't know what it's called, permit or where she can make the transfers, she'll be able to do the utility clearing account, which has a tremendous amount of money in it, and it needs to be allocated to water, garbage, and sewer. That's the clearing account. Every time you pay your water and sewer and garbage bill, it's one bill, but it's for 3 items. And so the money gets dumped into one account, and then it has to be separated out to the garbage, water, and sewer funds. Well, at last report, it's probably over $750,000 that has to be broken out. So, and then we will have to reimburse back the general checking account because we made payments when we couldn't cut the checks for Royal Carting.
Okay.
Anyway,
All right.
anyway.
All right, is that it?
No, with trustee Huber,
Yes.
were you still on for the February Tri-Muni meeting?
What day is that again?
Tomorrow, 11 o'clock.
Sure is. Maybe not.
Okay. Jen, are you available tomorrow?
Yeah.
11 o'clock?
Yes.
Stepping in.
Okay. Do you know where the plant is?
Chief Road?
It's off of Sheet Road, down the access.
Go for lunch.
All the way down.
Okay.
What time is it, 11
If you
o'clock?
get down to the bottom of the access road and you need specific directions, call me. I'll be there earlier.
I'm sure it's not hard to find a sewer plant.
No. But you can breathe.
So they complain about
Okay.
for the stink.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I want to go to personnel for just 1 second, because something that trustee Niznik said earlier, but I want to reiterate. I was here yesterday and I spent probably 90 minutes signing vouchers. Those were done because the ladies who work in this office worked their socks off. And you know, we had a lot of talk about finance, but these women did a boatload of work. And I want the people who are here and the people of the village to know that they worked hard, and we are fortunate to have them.
Yes, we are.
Very good, and I concur.
All right. Mayor, did you want to open it up to the public any more than we already have? All right, can we have a motion to go into executive
Does
session?
anyone else have a question before we go to executive session?
I'll make the motion for executive session.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
8:15.
Yeah.